How do you measure the life of a man who helped shape one of the most influential musical families in history, endured challenges that could have broken many, and still found the strength to move forward? Jermaine Jackson's story is not the simplified version the world thinks it knows. It is quieter, subtler, and more human. He is a brother who balanced loyalty and individuality, a father who learned from his missteps, and a survivor seeking peace in his later years. His journey is not merely about music or celebrity, but about endurance, reflection, and growth. Behind the lights and applause lies a man who learned to navigate both loss and love, who faced the consequences of choices, and who now understands that the truest achievements of life are often invisible to the public eye. A childhood without room to dream. Jermaine Jackson was born into a household in Gary, Indiana, where space was scarce and comfort was limited. 11 people shared a two-bedroom home, often leaving little room for imagination or privacy. His father, Joseph, worked tirelessly at the steel mill to support the family, while his mother, Catherine, took on part-time work and devoted herself to keeping the household emotionally balanced. The family relied on thrift, hand-me-downs, and shared responsibilities. Life required endurance, careful management of resources, and patience beyond their years. For Jermaine, the house was filled with energy, laughter, and love, but also the tension of survival. From this environment, he learned early that life would demand both resilience and sensitivity, lessons that would later shape his approach to family, music, and the public world he would eventually inhabit. Discipline, faith, and emotional growth. Two forces shaped Jermaine's early years: his father's discipline and his mother's faith. Joseph instilled structure, order, and a sense of responsibility, believing it was essential for the children to succeed. Mistakes were met with correction, and children learned to meet expectations early. Catherine, by contrast, offered warmth, understanding, and spiritual guidance. She balanced strict rules with love, prayer, and patience. This combination gave Jermaine a framework for life: discipline without cruelty, compassion without indulgence. Even amid strict expectations, moments of tenderness taught him the value of empathy and faith. The emotional climate of the home, structured yet nurturing, fostered his sensitivity. Jermaine internalized these lessons, learning to navigate both authority and love, an early foundation for the harmony and patience that would define his later musical and personal relationships. Observing the world quietly. Growing up in such a household, Jermaine developed a quiet, observant nature. He learned to watch and listen carefully, sensing the moods around him and adjusting accordingly. Speaking too much or testing boundaries often had consequences, so silence became a form of wisdom. He admired his father's strength, even when it inspired fear, and absorbed his mother's calm guidance as a model for compassion. This habit of observation allowed him to understand people and situations more deeply than many of his peers. It also gave him patience, empathy, and emotional intelligence, qualities that would later make him an anchor in the family and in the music business. From an early age, Jermaine learned that listening could be as powerful as speaking, and that presence mattered more than attention. Life thrust into fame. When the Jackson 5 signed with Motown Records in 1969, Jermaine was only 14. Life changed instantly. The family moved to California, tours began, and the pressures of professionalism replaced the familiarity of home. Jermaine shared co-lead vocal duties with his younger brother Michael, whose bright, dynamic voice contrasted with Jermaine's deeper tones, creating a balance that became a signature of the group. The demands were immense, yet Jermaine approached each day with discipline and care, learning to navigate both public expectation and personal performance. Behind the excitement of fame, he carried the quiet responsibility of ensuring harmony, maintaining focus, and protecting his voice. While applause and recognition were constant, the weight of expectation and the need for composure became a defining part of his early adult life. Discovering a personal voice. After the split, Jermaine worked to define his solo career. His album Let's Get Serious marked a breakthrough, earning him recognition that felt deeply personal. For the first time, he experienced the rewards of independent achievement. Yet the global phenomenon of Michael's Thriller again shifted attention away, reminding Jermaine of the delicate balance between personal success and family fame. He celebrated his brother's accomplishments while navigating his own journey, learning to separate pride from envy and fulfillment from public acknowledgement. Through these experiences, Jermaine developed an understanding that identity and self-worth are not dependent on recognition. He learned to value effort, integrity, and personal growth as measures of success. Love, marriage, and growth. Jermaine's marriage to Hazel began with hope, love, and mutual support. Fatherhood brought joy and purpose, but balancing family, career, and public life proved challenging. Emotional distance sometimes emerged as pressures mounted and communication became strained. Like many, he faced moments of imperfection and had to confront mistakes. The eventual end of the marriage came with dignity and reflection rather than conflict, leaving lessons of humility, understanding, and compassion. Jermaine internalized these lessons, learning that relationships require effort, listening, and patience. Fatherhood, love, and family life demanded persistence, adaptation, and care, shaping him into someone more attentive, present, and reflective in his later years. Embracing responsibility. In subsequent years, Jermaine's life included additional children and responsibilities, each requiring attention, care, and guidance. Managing multiple households and financial obligations added complexity, but he approached each with dedication. Public perception often overlooked the quiet work of parenting, emotional labor, and problem-solving behind the scenes. Through challenges, Jermaine learned that love and commitment are acts of ongoing effort, not perfection. He developed resilience, empathy, and accountability, realizing that family relationships grow through presence, support, and communication. The lessons of responsibility and patience, learned early, continued to guide him as he navigated adult life, career, and parenthood with intention and care. Enduring loss. The death of Michael in 2009 profoundly impacted Jermaine, leaving a space of grief that no fame or music could fill. Losing a sibling meant the loss of shared history, laughter, and unspoken understanding. Public attention contrasted sharply with private sorrow, yet Jermaine carried his grief with quiet dignity. Memories of childhood, moments left unresolved, and the bonds of family life became sources of reflection and connection. Later losses of other family members and friends reinforced the impermanence of life and the importance of cherishing relationships. These experiences deepened his understanding of mortality, empathy, and the enduring value of family, guiding him toward introspection, spiritual grounding, and meaningful connection in his later years. Seeking quiet faith. In the present, Jermaine lives a life shaped by calm, reflection, and faith. Prayer and contemplation provide structure and clarity, grounding him amid memories and accomplishments. Music remains a source of joy, no longer a duty, allowing him to reconnect with the art that sustained him as a child. Days are slower, marked by personal routines, mindfulness, and connection with loved ones. Through faith, he finds guidance, patience, and the ability to release regrets. The quiet rhythms of life replace the intensity of fame, teaching him that peace is earned through reflection, humility, and intentionality rather than applause. Music and spirituality together offer a space to honor the past while embracing the present with grace and gratitude. Fatherhood revisited. Jermaine's relationships with his children have evolved into spaces of understanding, care, and intentional presence. He acknowledges past imperfections and approaches family with patience, listening, and love. Effort has replaced expectation, and apologies have become tools for building connection. The lessons of his youth, fame, and career inform his approach to fatherhood, emphasizing support, understanding, and emotional availability. By prioritizing connection over achievement, he nurtures bonds that honor both history and growth. For Jermaine, legacy is not just fame or fortune, it is the ability to be present, to love deeply, and to guide the next generation with empathy, humility, and care. Through this lens, fatherhood becomes a profound expression of resilience and learning, legacy and reflection. Watching his children and family carry forward the Jackson legacy brings Jermaine pride and reflection. He has come to understand that true legacy is measured not by charts or awards, but by endurance, humility, and growth. Years of experience, challenges, and reflection have shaped him into a man who values peace over recognition and presence over applause. He no longer seeks external validation, finding instead fulfillment in relationships, music, and personal growth. In these quieter years, Jermaine has discovered the depth of human connection, the meaning of perseverance, and the richness of a life fully engaged. His story is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring power of love, faith, and reflection. The measure of a life. Jermaine Jackson's life transcends fame, fortune, and public perception. It is a story of quiet strength, learning, love, and loss. From the crowded house in Gary, Indiana, to global stages, he has navigated responsibility, expectation, and the complexities of family and identity. His achievements are measured not in applause, but in endurance, reflection, and compassion. Through hardship, mistakes, and profound loss, he has cultivated patience, understanding, and peace. In the later chapters of life, he finds fulfillment in the simplicity of faith, music, and family. His story reminds us that the truest measure of a life is not the recognition it receives, but the resilience, growth, and love that define it from within.